Welcome to Brad's Bark. This segment is going to be totally eye-opening because we're going to talk about the role of the dog catcher, or as we say in 2016, the animal control officer. So stay tuned for the upcoming amazing interview with Bruce Smith. Welcome to Brad's Bark. I remember growing up, going to the movie theater, and there's the big bad animal control officer, the dog catcher, if you will, right? And then poor little Fifi gets thrown into this vehicle and Fifi's eyes are all sad and there might be a teardrop. But that's way back when.
It's a cartoon.
It's a cartoon, totally. So what is an animal control officer or dog catcher, if you will, in this day and age?
Well, today, luckily for us, our animal control officers deal more with positive reinforcement. They're there for some bylaw enforcement, obviously, but luckily for us in the Central Okanagan over the last number of years, things have been changing. We've been promoting responsible dog ownership.
Yeah, look what I found. I license, I leash, and I pick up. Okay.
Keys to responsible dog ownership. And as a result, our dog control officers, our animal control officers are, yes, they're there to enforce the bylaw when they need to, but they're dealing less and less with that and more with education and awareness to let dog owners know, especially those who are moving into the community, and there are lots of people who are moving to the Central Okanagan.
Absolutely.
What's expected of them as dog owners here in the Central Okanagan, so that everybody can get along, dog owners and non-dog owners.
Animal control officers, they are human.
Oh, absolutely. It's a job just like your job or
Yep.
my job or anyone else's job. They're there to help other dog owners understand what it is expected of them when they're living here in the Central Okanagan and owning a dog. And that's basically, as you pointed out with the bracelet, it's licensing, leashing, making sure your dog is not a nuisance, it isn't causing a problem for anyone else,
Yep.
and that you look after your dog's health and socialization and all those other things that go with the responsibility of owning a dog.
One of the interesting pieces to the puzzle for animal control is, and listen carefully here, if this is an animal control officer, they want the best for your pet. They want the best for your dog, right?
The main reason that they're there is for public safety.
Yeah.
They're there to try and help guarantee that we are going to have a safe community and dogs are not going to be running free and roaming the wilds as wild animals do. They are domesticated animals that are in an urban setting. And there are requirements that dog owners have to do to ensure that they're good neighbors. They get along with their neighbors, just as any other thing that you do, whether you're building a fence, you're building a wall, you're building a driveway, you have to get along with people.
When I was in Florida, I did a ride-along with one of the animal control officers. When I did that ride-along, we came across some horrible situations and dogs had to be captured and then taken away. If we don't have an animal control officer to assist in something like that, then who does it?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So safety is pretty important here, in my opinion, and with what I'm hearing from you. So the dangers that an animal control officer would go through, what does that look like?
Well, the first goal is for their safety in any situation. They have to look after themselves and make sure that they are safe. And as an employer and employee, we have regulations, obviously, to protect the safety of our employees, work safe, etc. So that's one key. The second is ensuring that there's no other issues with other people around. So that's the public safety aspect. Okay. They have to try a variety of techniques through animal behavior. Reading animals to understand what the dog is doing, to try and encourage the dog to, so it's safe for them to approach the dog and or get the dog. So there's a number of things that have to be done in the interest of safety, both as the individual dog control officer, but the public in general, and the safety of the animal too, obviously.
Totally. So if let's say we had no animal control officers. What would a town or city look like with dog population and cat population?
The main reason that we end up having bylaws is because, unfortunately, not everybody can get along. And not everybody does the things that they should do as, to be responsible citizens. And as a result, we end up having bylaws to try and set guidelines, to set rules so that people understand the kinds of things the behaviors, the attitudes, the things they need to do to ensure that not only are they safe and that, but they're also cooperating and working and living in the community. Yeah. And as I said earlier, everybody gets along.
What type of training does an officer go through to become an animal control officer? Because I think there are a lot of kids out there that go, oh, that would be a cool job, and it'd be great if we could inspire them by knowing how awesome this job truly is.
Yeah. The main requirement is you need a bylaw enforcement course of bylaw enforcement 1 or 2, at least that. Driver's license, obviously, because you need to drive around. And in the regional district, we have a large regional district that our animal control officers have to cover. So that's key. The computer skills, obviously, because you're dealing with computers and technology still. People who are good with people. We look for that quality in our animal control officers, our dog control officers. We look for people who have conflict resolution skills so that they can deal with people in tough situations, as we've talked about.
Yes.
That's important. We look for people who like animals. Obviously, that's a key. Yeah, that's like a light bulb going off. And then many of our staff have either been volunteers or had worked for veterinary clinics or the SPCA, animal organizations like that, so that they have skills in dealing with animals and dealing with people. So those are some of the keys that we look for.
So is this job open to men and women?
Definitely.
Excellent.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yep.
Okay, Bruce, thank you so much. This has been awesome.
Excellent, Brad.
Yeah, thank you for joining Brad's Bark. Animal control officers absolutely need the respect, and they're there for a reason. We need to understand that reason is darn important, especially in this day and age, keeping our family pets safe. So we'll see you next week.